Hello everybody! So you might have noticed how we didn't comment on the EA Play conference showcase thingy. That's because there were various reasons where we couldn't. However, there was one thing from that conference that I thought was worth showing off. Here's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, made by Respawn Entertainment.
Wow, this is the
first thing shown up for
and guess what? And guess what?
Is this done using the Frostbite engine?
No. Fortunately, it isn't too.
Well,
surprisingly, right?
I know that the Frostbite engine is not that bad to use.
Well, here's the big deal. The Frostbite engine does not work.
Yeah, I heard this is a combination of hack and slash, like, say, The Force Unleashed, and some parkour elements like Prince of Persia.
Yeah, basically, well, it's a Respawn game too, so that's expected, according to
I see what you meant when you said that it was Uncharted-esque.
Oh god, that Wookiee looks ugly, though.
Well, the climbing, well, it's mostly because of the climbing that reminds me of that too, but keep in mind, I'm not exactly the most familiar with Respawn stuff, so...
Okay, first question, dismissed to all Star Wars fans right now. If you don't remember, timeline-wise, this is between episode 3 and 4, like a lot of side episodes. So it's telling a story about when the Empire was colonizing, you know, the different planets. In this case, I think we're on Kashyyyk.
Hence the name, Jedi Fallen Order. Yes, this game takes place after episode 3, and as the developers described it on the EA conference, it's going to have an entirely original story with original characters. There might be a cameo here and there, we don't know, but the focus is going to be on original stuff.
What a surprise! The Empire is enslaving the Wookiees on Kashyyyk. What else is new?
Yeah. So yeah,
not even without the expanded universe, the Wookiees still can't catch a break.
For those who are not aware,
cool.
Yeah, for those who are not aware, EA tends to try to drive this narrative that single-player, narrative-driven games are not the way. However, somehow they allow this game to exist. And it's an interesting thing for those who weren't there. When the developers came on stage and announced that that's what this game was, Greg Miller even turned to the audience and goes, "That's right, they're not dead!"
I'm really guessing that after the controversies of Battlefront 2, Disney basically did what in my country is called pulling the ears of EA and said, okay, if you want to keep the Star Wars license, you need to start getting your shit together.
So yeah,
you know you gotta do something to get Disney on your tail.
So basically, yeah, this is a single-player narrative-driven game where, like Teo said, we're going to have parkour stuff. However, the combat is going to be, well, exactly what you'd expect, lightsaber-related.
Did we just stumble into Fern Gully? Seriously?
Can we use our Jedi powers and jump straight over to that battle?
You can use Jedi powers in the game, yes.
No, I meant, can we just leap from there to the battle?
Well, I'm not sure that is something our protagonist can do. Mind you, this is probably one of the early stages in the game, so his powers are still growing.
Yeah, exactly, Teo. Good one. Because the developers said on stage, Dwebs, that we're going to see this guy go from a Padawan to a full-blown Jedi over the course of the game. Oh, there you go.
It's classic,
kind of like Force Unleashed.
Yeah, exactly. Classic justification for a progression system, both in-game and in the story. Yeah, it makes sense. It really does feel like a beefed-up version of The Force Unleashed.
It looks good.
I did play the first game recently. It was ambitious for the time. You can do a lot of things. But yeah, it's not a proto. Sorry, a repair droid. But the problem is that unfortunately, Force Unleashed.
No, you kill! Oh my God, Dwebs! They killed R2D2.
You bastard!
Not exactly R2D2, but R2D2 look alike.
But yeah, unfortunately, on a lot of things, Force Unleashed didn't age well. So seeing this, basically seeing that formula taken to the next step of evolution is actually really reassuring.
Okay. One cool thing, one of the few good things that Force Unleashed 2 did was that you could hypnotize the enemy to either attack their allies or they could commit suicide.
They didn't mention any of that to us, but like they said, according to the developers, this is 3 hours into the game.
So even if it's not a tutorial, it's still one of the early stages.
So basically, I don't know if they're going to implement that, but I'm assuming you'll probably other skill point obtained. My guess is they're going to be unlocking various Jedi skills with a skill tree, most likely.
If there's one thing that I always appreciated in the Star Wars game as they evolved, is how they managed to incorporate the different Force powers into the gameplay in a very effective way. I recommend, other than Force Unleashed, I would recommend Knights of the Old Republic, who does that on a more static RPG way.
To play him again.
Yeah. So yeah,
well, then again, it's CA. They're bound to have the resources to...
So,
provided they use them properly.
Yeah, and apparently our droid has healing things that he gives us when we need it.
Yeah, not gonna lie, the droid that we have in this game is so adorably cute. I'm gonna hate it if
he's probably gonna die at the end.
Probably along with
the problem. Unfortunately, the problem with a lot of these stories that takes place between episode 3 and 4 is that, due to narrative purposes, the Jedi usually has to die because they are still one of the few survivors of the slaughter at the Jedi Temple, or they were scattered in other parts of the galaxy. But in order to, for narrative reason, but the Empire has to stay strong when episode 4 starts around. Unfortunately, all the other main Jedi need to be about dead.
There you go, Duez. One thing you can do here is slow down time, apparently. Go ahead.
It looks like a Roman candle.
Anyway, I've got it. At the end of the game, you have an unwinnable battle with Darth Vader where you die anyway, but you can take the fight to win. Yeah, you can still, play the fight. You just can't win, and then that's how he dies.
Somewhat like the ending of Rogue One.
That wouldn't surprise me. There are some games that kind of had a similar thing.
To further demonstrate how shitty the Empire are.
As you can see, your droid is basically your tech key, where it operates mini computers for you, and so there you go.
The Lego games, you can have astromech droids or droids like RT.
Yeah.
In case you're while the score is still very obviously reminiscent of the one of John Williams, the composer is technically two: Gordy Hub and Stephen Barton.
Don't know them. There you go, Dibs. You have to slow down time to get past things. So
very good, Pedro. It's directed by Stig Asmussen, the guy.
Oh, the art director of God of War. Yeah, don't worry, too. I've been seeing the behind the scenes videos. I know.
Context.
The art director of the art director. He was the art director of God of War 1 and 2, and he directed 3.
Huh. Interesting.
Is he still at Santa Monica too?
I'm not sure. How possible, but I don't know what he's doing right now. He's doing this.
If he's here, then he's not there. What am I talking
about? Actually, no, you better go. He left Santa Monica in 2014.
Yeah, you're right.
And then joined Respawn Entertainment.
So there you go. We're fighting giant
bugs.
What else is new?
Finally, we can see that sequence that was only mentioned as a noodle accident in episode 2.
I always wondered what happened then.
There we go. So yeah,
again, I'm liking what this game seems to have to offer, an intuitive controls.
Again, when my experience with the Star Wars video games is not super complete, I played the basics, so Rebel Assault, Knights of the Old Republic, Force Unleashed, and some minor stuff, Shadows of the Empire, of course, that has to be a must. But not all of them, like for example, some of the old licensed games. This one feels the natural evolution step.
Yeah, this game seems to be taking a very typical approach to the same kind of stuff you'd see in a first-party Sony game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Oh, this is the game's excuse for the audio logs. Of course.
I'm okay.
Basically, using Force Echo. Oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
Using Force Echoes. Wow, that was brutal.
Where did you come from?
Using basically Force Echoes, our protagonist Jedi. Oh Jesus, that's also brutal.
Say goodbye to your legs and your abdomen.
He managed to get a memory echo from one of the fallen Imperial soldiers, who was presented in the form of an audio record of sorts.
Sure.
So it's the equivalent of an audio log.
Well, that's the kind of thing they expect. I'm okay with it as long as the story in its outside of those is fine.
Memes aside, I'm mostly fine with audio logs. It's when usually a game doesn't even bother to try to implement where it will raise an eyebrow. Honestly, this is fine.
Quantum Break.
But Pedro, I want to know about that script for
that screenplay. To give you to give you an idea, Shiroi, Quantum Break has an entire subplot in the text logs about someone who wrote a screenplay for a movie, something that is completely unrelated to anything, and I have no idea why it's there.
And mind you, it's not just handled in one bit. You see this subplot evolving through the course of a game with back and forth between the two people messaging.
Let me put it like this, Shiroi. It's about as useful as the Rimlight Corporation subplot of Sonic 06.
Well, I'd argue even the Rimlight Corporation was more useful. At least we had some...
And mind you, that one is technically pointless because it's erased at the end of the game, like everything else. So...
Oh god, that's right.
But don't you see, Teo? They're the #1 company source of energy. Whatever the hell that means.
Energy, I am lacking for that game.
It's okay, Shiroi, it can't hurt you anymore.
So basically, it's a combination of force combat, obviously, with
lightsaber.
Well, I'm including lightsabers in that, but
yeah.
And of course using your force powers and overall typical platform and parkour mechanics to traverse around the environment, basically. All right, now we're going to see a more involved combat sequence with multiple troopers.
Also, this is one of the things that I appreciate, the fact that the Star Wars games take everything, since they try to their best to be, they had to, by their own, nature, to be as in continuity as possible with their source material. They take everything that is shown in the movies and adapt it, even if it may have been a bit silly in the movies. In this case, for example, this Praetorian Guard, Imperial Guard, is using the doubled energy staff that some of the General Grievous guards use in Episode 3. Something that can block potentially a lightsaber using the extreme points.
Oh crap.
I wonder actually how the sword play is actually implemented, like in a sense of you can dodge roll at the last second or something. Very curious.
Interesting one.
Oh.
I'll admit, they have quite a bit of variety to show here.
Basically, Jova,
that to help keep the experience nice and fresh.
Basically, Jova, I started watching the conference from the beginning. This was literally the first thing they showed, and after they moved on to something else, I just tuned out because I didn't really.
I heard the rest was basically sports.
This was
the multiplayer and sports,
and no anthem.
This was the only worthwhile thing. Wookiee.
A horribly rendered Wookiee.
Well, to be fair, this is the alpha for
I know, but
Why can they never get
one of those protocol droids like the one in Rogue Warrior.
Oh boy.
Prepared by Anus.
Tio, it's not voiced by Mickey.
What?
And cut off.
And now a little
snippets.
Snippets, yeah.
All right.
AT!
Yeah, sure, this looks actually really fine.
The only thing that makes me wary is that EA are involved.
Yeah, that's the primary concern because
it does look fun though.
Hence why I'm still not gonna get
that's
it
exactly the problem, Shiroi. It looks fun, but EA is a very special talent for finding a way to ruin bad things. They'll most likely plaster this game with.
Battlefront 2 looked fun when we first saw it, and we all know how that turned out.
But honestly, well, I'm not the biggest Battlefront fan in general, even for the old games. But Battlefront 2 had something that made me, my spider sense tingling. This one, on the other hand, feels more quote-unquote safe, so I'm a bit more cautiously optimistic, but obviously I'm still gonna wait until launch day to see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I'm really liking this thing so far. It really does feel like, even at worst, a love letter to the classic type of Star Wars games throughout the eras.
Alright, Duez, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and depending on how the games are, I might check it out. I won't check it out immediately because there's a whole bunch of other stuff coming out in November.
Yeah, November is incredibly crowded, like we noticed.
Like, holy cow. I mean, seriously, November's going to be a battle royale of video games.
It's interesting because up until this point, it was usually October, the month that it was called Broketober as a result.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
Shiroi.
Well, I was wondering what was going on at first, not in terms of the trailer, because a lot of what has been announced at this E3 is scheduled for at least spring 2020. So I was like, oh, isn't there anything coming out this year? And now I'm just like, please stop. Stop what's happening this year, please.
Oh, there's plenty coming out this
year.
Yeah, towards the latter half of E3, they were like, okay, now everything's out this year.
Shiroi. Ni no Kuni Remastered comes out September 20th. Only for 9 days later, Dragon Quest XI-S comes out. So, there you go.
Yeah, good luck to everyone buying both of those.
Alright, about the game itself.
But yes, it looks a lot of fun. I haven't really paid attention to something like Battlefront because it is primarily online, isn't it? Mostly? Is Battlefront online?
S2S2.
Sorry, can you repeat that, Shira? Yeah,
Battlefront is largely online, right?
Yes, it has two. One of the selling points of 2 is that it had a single-player mode. It's not super enthusiastic, but it is there. And mind you, since it's the new it's the new universe type of stories, it is technically canon, so it has a minor relevant importance, but you can skip that. You can skip Battlefront 2 if you want, potentially. And just
the only thing that really interested...
This one is more single player. That's your answer that you need.
Yeah, which is more for me, personally. And it seems to have... It has an original story, I'm guessing.
Yes, the developers confirmed that it takes place in the main canon. It's after episode 3. Basically,
like I said, between episode 3 and 4. So after the slaughter of the Jedi and the rise of the Empire, but just a bit after, as you can see, Kashyyyk is getting colonized and used the Wookiees enslaved.
However, Shiroi, the developers did say that the entire primary story is going to be entirely original with original characters, so it should be perfectly self-contained, most likely.
Mm. Yeah, it is fun, though.
Yeah, it looks.
That's all I have to say about it. It does look good.
All right, Jova, close us out.
Again. Yeah, that's the only real good thing from EA's show, but hey, let's talk about it. It looks good. I mean, it's a full-on campaign experience, but hey, that alone isn't what makes it good. What makes it look good is that it looks like it's taken everything it could learn from every past campaign of Star Wars games that there's been, and rolling it up into a nice, delectable taco of all those gameplay styles.
Hey, tacos are good.
What about chimichangas?
Never had one.
I don't know what those are.
Deadpool reference. Go on, Jova.
But yeah, it looks fun. I'm just wary of EA, but that aside, it looks like there's a lot of
that's the one thing looming on this poor game, because everything about this game looks really good. It's just the problem that EA is most likely gonna still maybe find a way to ruin it somehow. That's the sad part, because this game has literally everything it needs to become a really great Star Wars game, as long as EA doesn't do anything to it.
I'm definitely going
it's
to
very simple, EA. You need to keep your pants on. Can you think you can
do that, EA,
for
please?
5 minutes?
Can you do that, EA? Can you do that for once?
Can you just give us one good thing for a change?
And ask them nicely, please.
Yes.
No monkey's paws, just a good game.
Yes, it shouldn't be that hard to accomplish, right? All you literally have to do is do nothing. It should
just let the game come out and enjoy the free money shower.
So, guys, want to take bets on how they screw it up?
Most likely they're gonna flood it with microtransactions.
I'm not sure how would that work for the elements that are presented here.
I got it. I got it. It'll be a glitchy mess.
I'm fully expecting, I'm considering it's more of a norm these days than anything, I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 DLC episodes eventually released post-launch. But like I mentioned multiple times, I've always been more lenient towards those, so not sure I'm the best person to argue about if those can be aggravating or not.
The DLC episodes are fine as long as the game still comes out as a complete product. The problem is, I'm more concerned for, like Dweb said, maybe EA will rush it out the door and not allow them to properly polish everything,
Possible.
or like they'll flood it with microtransactions. Probably one of those two.
We'll see.
Anyway, everybody, my thoughts are basically the same as everybody else. Like, it looks like a really great game, so I'm really looking forward to it. How sad was it that EA, of all people, before Square and Nintendo came out, was the one that showed a genuinely really interesting game? How sad is that? But anyway, you see, Joe, but hell must be freezing over right now. It must be. But anyway, see you for. Hopefully, maybe we'll cover something else of this game if it comes out. We'll see how things go, or maybe an eventual playthrough, whatever. See you for there.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.